Okay, so welcome to day one and congratulations for getting this far. This is so important that you've made it. So the first topic that I'm going to talk about is actually the most important. For health, for energy, for longevity, it just means everything. Without it, we're dead, and with it, we can really have the potential to thrive even more than you can ever imagine. Okay, so what is it? Oxygen. Oxygen is really the key element to health and energy. We can't live without it. For 5 minutes without it, we're dead. And basically from a cellular perspective, so looking back, drawing ourselves right back to the smallest part of ourselves, which is a cell will die if it doesn't have any oxygen. If it has just about enough oxygen to survive, but not enough, then it will start to mutate, which is when you create environments of disease. So things like cancer grows in those kinds of environments. And then there's an abundance of oxygen, which is really where we thrive. We feel incredible, we feel euphoric, we feel energetic, and it's just a different experience. Now there's another reason why oxygen is so important, why breathing is so important, because we use the breath to get the oxygen in the body. And that is because basically our lungs and our breathing is responsible for detoxifying the body. It actually gets rid of 70% of the toxicity from our body. It comes from our breath. Now, some of the breath patterns that I'm going to teach you today really are designed to stimulate the lymph system. And for those of you who don't know what the lymph system is, it's the sewage system of the body. So when you stimulate it, and the problem with the lymph system is there's nothing to stimulate it. So we have to stimulate it ourselves. So one way to do that is with the breath. And there's been a number of studies that have shown that specific breath patterns actually activate the lymph system more effectively than others. So it just provides us with a better better grounding for actually getting these toxins out, because unless we're eliminating the toxicity from the body, it's just building up. So the next point is, what's the problem? Like, we are breathing every day, aren't we? So that is, yes, we are, but it's also a big problem because we tend to not breathe properly. So when we're a lot younger, so when we're born, we are actually breathing in an optimal way. So we're breathing into the abdomen. As we get older and the stresses of life start to take over, we start to breathe more shallow, in a more shallow way, just into the chest area. Now the challenge with that is when we're breathing just into the chest area, we're not actually fully oxygenating the blood, because actually the richest form of blood flow occurs in the lower parts of the lungs. So unless we're actually breathing into the abdomen, then we're not fully oxygenating our bodies, which is the main problem. And I put money on it. I don't know that there's research out there, but I bet you there is, to say that shallow chest breathing is really responsible for a huge amount of stress, and panic attacks is another one, which I actually used to suffer from. An anxiety is actually a result of poor breathing. Okay, so what do we do about that? So I'm going to give you two really basic exercises to do. So the first exercise is actually just to establish where you are right now. So what I want you to do as soon as this video is finished is go and get a stopwatch, get your phone and put 1 minute on the clock to time yourself. And then what I want you to do is just breathe how you would normally, but time it. And time the breath, how long it takes to go in and out. So how many breaths you can do within a minute, that's in and out. So inhaling, exhaling is 1 count. And then count how many times you breathe within 1 minute. Then write that down. Okay, so that's where you are right now. Okay, so then the next step is to actually get in front of a mirror for a couple of minutes, take your top off if necessary, and just breathe in front of a mirror. So what I want you to do is just sort of breathe, and what you might find is you're breathing like this. So your chest is going out and your shoulders are moving, and maybe your neck is moving a bit too. That is shallow breathing. What we want to do in an optimally, what the best form of breath is just so the chest does not move, so the shoulders do not move, and with just the only thing that's moving actually is the belly. So it's just expanding and contracting, and there's no movement in the shoulders or the chest. So just to sort of get that experience, because it's a little bit tricky, we forget sometimes how that's done. So because we're just not doing it. So it might feel very awkward. Now, if it feels way too awkward for you, the best thing to do is to actually lie down on the floor and get the experience of just moving your belly in and out, and then start using the breath to move the belly in and out. And then once you get to the real sensation of doing that on the floor, then to start doing it standing up or sitting down with a straight back. So those are the kind of steps. So really to get a feeling of what it's like to breathe into the abdomen again. Then the next point is then once you've experienced that, is 3 times a day, is to do the breathing. So put a 1 minute on your stopwatch again, and what you want to be aiming for is to get between 4 and 6 breaths per minute. So really to slow your breath down into the abdomen and to exhale, so very deep breathing if necessary, and then to exhale the breath so it comes out. So on average it should be about 7 counts inhale, 7 counts exhale, and that will get you between 4 and 6 breaths within a minute. So that's optimally actually what we should be doing all the time. But it's not always practical to do that, obviously, so we just need to get that feeling. So before you eat, every time before you eat, you just do that for 1 minute. So that's 3 minutes out of your day. Okay? Now, there's one more breath pattern which I want to teach you, which is the morning breath pattern, which is the essential one. It's the one that wakes you up. It will invigorate you. It will set your day up, and you'll feel so much better once you do it. So that is very simple. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, you put your legs on the floor, you put your shoes on, you get out of the door, no matter if it's cold, it might be wet, and for 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes only to do this breath pattern. Very simple. So you inhale for 4 counts into the nose. So with each step you do an inhale. It's a fast, quick inhale. So it's and then exhale for 4 counts too, through the mouth. So with each step is an inhale for 4, with each step is an exhale for 4. And you do that for 5 minutes and get a real understanding of what the feeling is like. When you wake up, you're a little bit groggy, you don't really feel like it, you walk out the door, and then you do this breath pattern, then 5 minutes later monitor how you feel and what the difference is in how you feel. Okay, so that's it for 5 minutes. So just to review, just to sum this up, so the number 1 is to do the stopwatch and see where you are now. Find out how many breaths you're doing within a minute, It doesn't matter if you don't need to focus too much on your breathing, just do it as you're doing it now to find out where you're at now. The second part is to get in front of a mirror and to actually see where you are breathing. Is your chest moving? Is your shoulders moving? And get the sensation of what it feels like to breathe into the abdomen. And then 3 is to try and slow that breath down using the stopwatch and following that 1-minute procedure before each meal. And then the 4th part is doing the breath pattern in the morning. Actually, the other way around, I should have done it. So actually the first thing you do is the breath pattern in the morning. So right now, try doing this exercise now. So for 5 minutes, go out and do this breathing exercise and then come back straight away and get in front of a mirror and see what that experience is and try to make that adjustment into the abdomen. Okay, so that's it. That's your 10 minutes for today. Very simple exercise. You don't need to spend any more than 10 minutes today, and then tomorrow I'll be coming back to you with another really important topic. So have a wonderful day and go do that now. Do not hesitate. Just go do it, go do it, go do it. And I'll see you tomorrow.